A very good evening to all our delegates, participants from Nepal. Namaste from Bangkok. And this is the first webinar we are doing in partnership with Association of Chartered Accountants of Nepal. But this is the third joint collaboration between AITE Extension and FroxJob Nepal. Without any further ado, I would like to request my Executive Director, Dr. Jonathan Shaw, to give his welcome address to the delegates. Dr. Jonathan Shaw, please.
Thank you, Pradeep, and a very good evening to everybody, and a very warm welcome to this latest collaboration with FroxJob. Namaste, and we look forward to a very stimulating evening. I'd like to thank Pradeep and my colleagues for the work that they put in on organizing this, and of course, many thanks also to Bimal Kandel and our honourable resource persons, Mr. Ronaldo Kalabdan and Dr. Harry Kumar Silwal. I think that there is a wealth of expertise here. We're very grateful to the participants that have joined us this evening, and we look forward to a very stimulating evening. So thank you very much. And without, as Pradeep says, without further ado, let's get on with the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, very much for your welcome address. Now, I would like to request Mr. Hari Kumar Silwalji to speak about leadership in the context of Nepal. May I request Mr. Silwalji to speak, to take the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Very.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Pradeep. Thank you, Dr. Jonathan, Executive Director of the program, and Mr. Ronaldo. I represent the Association of Chartered Accountants of Nepal as an immediate past president. Our association has been operating last over 4 decades now. The oldest professional association of the country. We are very happy to have collaborated with AITE and AITE Extension. AITE is very much in the eyes, in the minds, and in the hearts of Nepalese scholars and management practitioners for a very long time, be it private, corporate, non-profit, development, semi-government, or government agencies. We thank AITE for grooming our leaders for decades. I would like to remember on this very moment for all those good deeds all the scholars have done at AITE, and AITE has done for Nepal and globally. Coincidentally, I had an opportunity to visit AITE second week of February this year as a speaker in MBA program. And I was very much, excited and very much influenced and very much impressed how Nepalese scholars have, largely and effectively contributed in AITE development and vice versa. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to remember this very fact at this very moment. Thank you very much for that. Today, we are very happy to have Mr. Ronaldo, who is a well-known practitioner, trainer, coach for leadership development. And we have got a very relevant, pressing, and useful subject to talk about and learn about today. Transition has been, very difficult thing to handle time and again globally, locally, for an individual, for any company, for any organization, be it government, semi-government, or any development organization, or private organization, or public companies. As Dr. Pradeep mentioned about throwing few words on local transitional leadership issues, allow me to limit to Nepalese context. I think that I can justify little more than talking globally, I guess so. Talking about Nepal, we have seen so many transitions. Let me mention in reverse order. You know, I would rather love to talk something of future that's going to happen next year for Nepal. Nepal is going to graduate from LDC, least developed country, to developing country next year. We are expecting to. So, being a management student, moreover, a student of public finance and governance, we have been working and talking and doing little bit research how to handle this transition for Nepal. I think this could be a very interesting and relevant subject to study for all the scholars, including the respected faculties out there at AITE, because one way or other, Nepal is also a stakeholder of AITE, you know, because so many of Nepalese scholars have served there as dean or maybe head of the departments. And I was surprised when I was addressing to a group of MBA students, nearly half of them were Nepalese citizens, you know. So 2021, Nepal is expected to graduate from LDC to a developing nation, developing country. And a lot of things we are going to lose, and a lot of new things we are going to face. That is going to be a big transition. I would like to leave this very subject to this very respected floor, this August group, to ponder in and give some insight or tips in the days to come through any other channel or this same group. That is one point I wanted to mention. Another point, because since we have a very learned and very insightful presentation, going to be given by Mr. Ronaldo, I don't want to take much of his time, because I wish the participant get the most benefit out of this 1 hour session. Still, Nepal recently, last a decade or so, we have faced a lot of political transition. Because today we are going to only discuss about transition. That's why I'm focusing this. Actually, we have got, the federal system, a political system, provincial administrative system, and we have got new constitution with federal republic concept. So this is a very big transition in itself. As such, we have been trying to adjust, be it say federal finance, or be it provincial resource sharing, or maybe the power struggle, power sharing, any kind of thing. So it's a big transition, because earlier it was a unitary political administration, and now it is a provincial system. So there's a big transition, and right from the local government to the central government or federal government, be it in say revenue generation, or be it in any other the resource management, or sharing the national revenue, whatever it is, it's a very big the shift, the transition. That is another transition Nepal is trying to work with. Now, that is what it is. That's not your choice or my choice. That is our choice. By choice, we have got it. In management, I always see sometimes when we face a change, have to face a challenge, I always see with two eyes, two alternative eyes. Is this what I have invited? This problem, excuse me, this problem or issue, or is this something came from external forces? This transition we ourselves invited. We did a revolution, we did a campaign, we tabled the issue, and we got the system through our own action. Then we have no one to blame. That is us, ourselves, who choose to go for federalism. So once a leader decides to, we all are leader. We are leader by ourselves, for ourselves. We lead ourselves. The leader, I believe, first has to lead herself or himself. Then only we can expand or grow or develop or shift to the bigger size as a pyramid. So we chose to go for federalism. Now we have no one to blame for. That is ourselves who chose to go for federalism. Now how to lead the country under this system, because we have already chosen to transit. And see, things are either, we call it de facto and de jure. De jure we are federal, but de facto we are in transition, because we need to adapt with the changes from old to new. It takes time. Now, as we have to lead it, which we invited by choice, not came from external forces, we have no choice but adapt with this, adapt with these changes, and go with the transition. So here, I just want to add on few points. Like when we say leader, we all know there are different types of leader, be it democratic, autocratic, or laissez-faire, or any transaction, whatever we call it. There's a personality, that's a leader type. But I mainly believe in, when we say leader, we have to lead by action. We call it, say, live the talk or walk the talk. Whatever we say, then we bring into action. Bringing our statement into action is not easy, but possible. That's what I personally believe in. And as a person practicing sattvic lifestyle, I strongly believe in, we are made of 5 elements: water, air, fire, wind, and space. These 5 elements make every human being, and our leadership style is purely based on which element dominates us. This is my very personal understanding out of last almost 35 years of working. And I have got an opportunity to lead couple of organizations, be it social, be it philanthropic, be it professional, be it corporate and commercial. So I always see the individual, how she or he leads, and what is she or he made of. Any of these 5 elements, which elements dominate more. Accordingly, we develop our personality trait, and accordingly, we fall under a particular kind of leadership type. So this is my understanding. I don't see any type of leadership good or bad. So we need to know what kind of leader I am. Accordingly, I have to make my plan accordingly, and also share with my team members, the team players, and get to know, let them know what kind of person you are and what kind of person they are. We need to get to know. Accordingly, we form a fantastic workable team. So mainly it's all about the self. That's what I believe in. So without much ado, without further delay, when we say transition, is it a global transition like we are facing or encountering or experiencing, I would rather say, due to this pandemic? That also gives us some insight about a new transition, transition in many things, be it lifestyle, be it commerce, industry, supply chain, or maybe resource sharing, or economic theories and principles, or anything and everything. Similarly, country also has a transition, and I would say, I strongly believe, I rather believe in more of anthropological things, because once we are good, we can have good people around. So leadership is all about oneself. Take any example, be it Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi ji, or maybe today's few leaders like Richard Branson, or maybe Elon Musk, or anyone you take. So it's all an individual. Once an individual himself or herself is really strong and capable and reachable or accessible, who can perform, who can deliver, who can make the team work together for the common goal, then whole resources come together. Now I have a point. One, like when we talk about managing the transition, leading to manage the transition, I always see what transition is taking place inside me, because we also encounter transition within ourselves. Transition may be due to we shift from teenage to adult, or adult to little matured, or so on, elderly people. That's one transition by age, by number. Another transition could be our academic or like managerial skill through education or experience or training. Another transition could be, you never know, somebody switches from one religion to another religion, or somebody migrates from the birthplace to a new town, new country. So these all are transition. When we think about managing the transition of the country or the time or organization, so first I believe, strongly believe, we should think and look at ourselves, whether any transition is taking place within ourselves or not. So with this note, I would like to welcome Mr. Ronaldo for the intensive, fruitful, effective, practical, useful, the experience sharing and tips and tools and techniques. We have a lot of things to learn. I'm very sure I'll also learn so many things, and I'll be coming back after he will finish. He will complete his technical session. As he rightly mentioned, he has 3 sessions, and he's happy to receive 2 questions after each session. For that, we have a system. Dr. Pradeep, me, and someone from FroxJob, we have a team, and we'll collect questions. All the participants, may I request you all to please send your queries, practical, queries to the question Q&A box, so that we can put in order and place it to Mr. Ronaldo. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. So over to Dr. Pradeep, or Mr. Ronaldo.
Yeah, I thank you very much, Shilwalji, for your insightful and thoughts, not only the technical leadership, but what you rightly mentioned, we all have what we call in Indian subcontinent, the Panchabhuta Atma. So we, human beings are made of Panchabhuta Atma. So the 5 elements. Then you rightly nailed down AITE and Nepal partnership, which has been for more than 5 decades.
Yeah.
So last 50 years, AITE and Nepal partnership, AITE has produced a lot of leaders, managers and academicians. Some of them are working in Nepal, some of them are global managers.
Yeah.
So AITE and Nepal partnership is flourishing every day and every year better and better. Another thing which is very critical, you mentioned about so many transition, and the most critical aspect of managing the transition is very critical, which is how best we can go for the smooth sailing to overcome the transition.
Yeah.
Again, looking at the perspective in terms of crisis, some people, they look at whether the glass is half empty or half full. So these are some of the very pertinent aspect which you touched, and I just summarize your thoughts. Before then, the most critical aspect of this webinar is our key speaker, Mr. Reynaldo Calabdan. He is the training and organizational development consultant working in AITE in Bangkok and also around the region in South Asia and Southeast Asia. So I would like to request our speaker, Mr. Reynaldo, to take over the floor. Mr. Reynaldo, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and namaste to our distinguished participants in this webinar. First, I would like to check your feelings at this time. Okay, I just would like to know how are you feeling at this time. Now, at a scale of 1 to 10, I just would like to see how happy you are. Okay, the feeling of happiness. Okay, at this time, scale of 1 to 10, I would like you to write on the chat box a number, whether you are very happy, that's 10, and 1 is, well, maybe you are struggling, and 5 is the middle. So let's see how happy you are at this time. Wow, 8, 9, wow, 10, we have 10. Oh, Lila Raj Baral. 7, 8, 7, 9. Anybody else? Good. Okay, these are all high. So that means everyone is, well, very happy, even with the situation that we are in. Okay, so thank you very much. Let me share my slides. Okay. Okay, once again, good evening and namaste, and also to everyone here in the studio here, my colleagues in the AITE extension, and also maybe there are other friends who are watching. I would like to welcome everyone to this webinar. So the topic is already being said, leadership for managing transition. I would like to thank Mr. Silwal for that introduction about the transition in Nepal and other things with regards to leadership. I appreciate that the way you are dealing with leadership is very, very personal. So I would like us this evening to have a conversation, about this topic. Okay, and I will be, as already mentioned by Mr. Silwal, there are 3 sections in this presentation. So first is that transition. Let's talk about what is this transition that we want to focus on, because there are so many types of transition. And I want us to really put the context of our conversation. And so we have to clarify what's this transition that we are talking about. And the second is about how do we respond? Okay, how do the leaders respond to this transition, or even how do the leaders have to respond to the future? Okay, so and the third section is about the qualities. Okay, the qualities of the leader who, I mean, in responding with regards to what is happening in the future, or what will happen in the future, or what is happening now. Let us look at what are the qualities which are very necessary or important so that we can manage that transition that we are going to talk about. Okay, so this webinar is interactive. So when I do the presentation, I will be asking you some questions, and I would like you to answer whether it would be in the chat box or in the Q&A if you have a question with regards to what I've said or I'm saying. And let us try to discuss. I said, let's have a conversation. This topic of leadership is very common, but I would like us to share, because I know that I am not, I mean, we are all experienced leaders. We have experiences in terms of leadership. So we rely on each other this evening in our discussion, not only from me, but we have to share what we think, what we feel, and in terms of the topic, and question and answer. And also we will be using some tools in order to deliver what we are going to discuss. So let's dive in to the first section, which is that transition. And let's see what is this transition that we want to focus on. Now, I would like to bring our minds into the topic of new normal. I believe that many of us have heard this terminology, okay, the new normal. I'm sure it is being discussed in your organizations in Nepal, and even for sure the whole world is discussing about what is this new normal. So my first question for you, sorry that I have to ask you the first question, not you asking me the question, but let's try to do a brainstorming. Let's do a reflection. And I would like you to go to this website, www.menti.com. And once you are there, you will be asked to enter a code. So the code is 869330. Okay, and the question that I would like to ask you is, what do you think a post-pandemic new normal would look like? Okay, so what is going to happen during that new normal in all aspects of our lives, like business, career, workplace, society, relationships, family, education, and globalization, and technology, and other things. I would like us to think about what is new normal, or what do we mean by new normal, or what is your expectation about new normal. So look, you go to menti.com and then enter the code and write your answers on that. So I would like to share. Let's see if you, okay, we have one entry, traveling. Okay, traveling. So what do you think a post-pandemic new normal would look like? So do you mean that there will be some travels that will be happening, or travels will be limited? Anybody else? Go to www.menti.com and enter the code, and you can answer. You can type in as many answers as you want. Economic, okay. What will happen? This I would like you to be specific. What would happen to the economy of Nepal, or of the different countries of the world Okay, at least there's one. Flexible work time. Okay, that's very specific. Thank you for that. Anybody else? So let's wait. Okay. Now, if you're having difficulty in using the website, maybe you can also type in the chat box if you have difficulty. Okay, now answers are coming. Informative, availability, self-control, wow, social intelligence, zest, gratitude. Wow, those are very big things, but I'm not very clear about what's the meaning of that. Okay, being philanthropic. Okay, less egoistic. Okay, that's all about attitudes. Digital technology for sure. Okay, the new normal will involve a lot of digital technology, and especially with regards to flexible work time, self-encouragement of, okay, we need a lot of self-encouragement for the new normal because we don't even know yet, okay, what will happen, but at least we'll have some ideas or expectations. Wow, that's a bunch of answers. Work from home, technological adaptation, lots of reflection, collective thinking. Yes, instead of acting on individual opinion. Yes, we need collaboration, change in hygiene. Of course, that will be the new normal. Maybe we have to wash our hands many times coming to the office, going home, or going to places, so forth, and so on and so forth. More value for people. Okay, that's very good. Share the earth and resources, a lot of sharing, a lot of collaboration. Okay, I think we have already, thank you for your inputs on this question. Now let us look at, I'll go back to my PowerPoint, and then, okay, here we have also, okay. So thank you very much for your inputs to that question. So new normal. Now, some people say that a thing about new normal. Let's look at these statements. There's nothing new about the new normal. What do we mean by that? Do you agree that there's nothing new about the new normal? Now, what does this mean? Now, this is a statement from somebody who was speaking to a very big audience, and he said this: there's nothing new about new normal. Now, what he really meant when he talked about this is that we have experienced many things, okay, in the past, okay, and it's just that the things that happen in the past, the realities that happen in the past, are being emphasized in the present situation. Like, for example, poverty, inequality, and so on and so forth. The reality before the COVID, those are the realities, and this person believed that the new normal will still have this kind of things. Okay, so there's nothing new. Maybe it's just the emphasis of these things that is happening around us. So that's one statement. The next is that new normal is about surprises. Yes, surprises here is about change. Okay, so there will be a lot of changes. There will be sudden changes. There will be quick changes. Change is the new normal. So there will always be surprises after. Or even now, there are already surprises, and even and after the COVID, after the pandemic, then there will be more surprises. The business environment, another statement, the business environment is unlikely to return to the normal. Okay, so I'm sure we have hints already on this. The business environment is unlikely to return to the. Just looking at the picture, that's not our normal. That's not our regular practice. Okay, in a restaurant, So, and I'm sure that we have already experienced social distancing in not only in restaurants, but also in our workplaces, I hope. So some people said or say that it's unlikely, we are unlikely to return to the normal. Now, most likely, these are the things that will happen around the world, okay? So this is according to the World Economic Forum, and there are so many things here. Now, this, somebody mentioned about economy. So here it's mentioning that prolonged recession of the global economy, surge in bankruptcies, failure of industries, and then high levels of structural unemployment, and so on and so forth. And because of the use of technology, then there will be cyber attacks and data fraud will be prevailing, especially when we are working at home. And also there's quite a negativity in the red item, another global outbreak of COVID-19 or different infectious disease will happen. So these are the things that are being predicted for in the coming future. So I'm sure these statements are based on what is happening now and based on comparing to what we have experienced before COVID. So these are the things as leaders already mentioned by Mr. Sidwal. As leaders, we have to be able to prepare. We have to prepare ourselves if these things will happen. Okay. So here, let's thinking about the future. This is according to a think tank called EYQ. Now, 4 categories of realities: the global order, societies and economies, firms and markets, households and individuals. So I just would like you to look at this. There are 12 items in this matrix. I would like you to look at this and try to reflect which of these would impact us as leaders. Okay, as leaders of our organizations, as leaders of teams, which of these realities, future realities, will have a big impact on our role as leaders? Let's see. You can type into the chat box also. Now let's see if you can, if we can have something. What are these things, or which of this would have really a big impact on our role as leaders? Okay. So okay, so I just would like you to look at this list. Okay, these items in the matrix. Now, for example, mental health. Mental health will come into focus. Now we have to. We are leaders, and if we have staff or colleagues or team members who are experiencing really difficulty or struggles with family or self with regards to the situation, then you have to be ready for that. It will be a big impact on your leadership. And about simple lifestyle, what do we mean by simple lifestyle? Minimalist and self-sustaining lifestyles. How simple will be our lifestyle in the future? There will be no travels. There will be we have to save money and so on and so forth. So how simple, and would this impact also our work and our leadership in the organization with regards to the people that you are handling? Remember that the focus is in terms of leadership. Are the people that we are leading, and remote work, digital transformation, and look at number 9. Look at number 9. You may need a chief culture officer. What does it mean? Now, why do we need a chief culture officer? This is a chief culture officer of an organization. A culture here is about organizational culture. Why? Because the future of remote work will transform things, how we do the work. So culture will not be seen, will not be obvious anymore because we are working at home. How can we see the culture of an organization if people are not in the same building? So if people how will people know what is the work culture of the organization? So maybe we have to invest on this person who will look at how should we preserve the culture of the organization. Okay, so these are some of the things that the future realities is being projected or are being predicted by some think tanks or experts. Okay, so at this time, let's see now with regards to these realities. Okay, these realities here, future realities. Now the question for us is, are we going to be the ones who will define these realities, these new normal realities, or we will just be watching it happening in front of us? Now, what does that mean? Are we going to be proactive in terms of making these realities happen, or we will just wait and be reactive, just react on what realities will be in front of us? So being leaders, okay, being leaders of our organizations, we have two options. We will be the disruption, or we will lead the disruption, or we will just react or do something about the disruption that are being initiated by others. So what kind of leader, what type of leader are you with regards to this, the new normal realities that we are going to face? Now, remember, this new normal is maybe there are some clues, maybe there are some hints that we are seeing at the moment, but for sure we do not know when it will happen because the pandemic is still here. But in some countries, perhaps like Thailand, the I don't know whether we will call it as new normal, but starting to be getting better here in Thailand. But are we going to call it new normal, or maybe it will just be back to normal? Or again, what is our standard for normal, for regular, and new normal? So I just would like to see if there are questions at the moment. That is the section on the transition that we have to focus our discussion. Okay, so do we have any questions? Do you have anything in the chat box with regards to the first section? Are there questions so far? Or if there are no questions, if there are no comments, then maybe we have to continue.
Mr. Ronaldo, I request you to further the session. Please go into session 2. I don't see any question as of now. If there will be any, then I'll put it to you later on. I request you to continue, please.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will continue to the next section. Okay, here, the next section, we will be focusing on, okay, we have seen okay, the predictions, we have seen the expectations of experts and people with regards to the what will happen in the future. Okay, the transition to the new normal, the transition to the future of our surroundings and every aspect of our lives. Okay, so how do we respond? What are we going to do? How are we going to prepare ourselves for those realities that are being predicted by experts? So here, 3 guiding principles. Planning, okay? For sure, we have to do planning, okay? And sometimes planning can take time. Planning can be short planning, but we have to plan for the unthinkable. We have to plan for that, I don't know, you can call it a worst scenario, or some kind of scenario in the future. But we have to plan. We have to plan for the unthinkable, something that we do not know that will happen. We have to also make those predictions by ourselves if we want to define or to determine what will happen in the future. So plan. And of course, while we are doing planning, it's very important that scanning is looking at possibilities, looking at what's happening in our surroundings, in other countries, within the country, and what's happening with the world and with the people in our organizations and other places. Okay, so we have to scan. We have to wait a little bit. Okay, but then we have to be flexible. We have to be flexible, and once we have determined what kind of things that will happen, then we have to move quickly. Okay, be flexible but moving quickly. Okay, so we cannot be complacent anymore. We have to be agile. Okay, the word agility, the word agile is very much discussed at this time. So those are the guiding principles for leaders. Now, 4 ways to lead. Of course, there are many ways to lead, but let's try to look at this. I mean, this is based on somebody who is working on a leader of an organization, an HR organization, and this is what he was able to gather based on research. Focus on what matters. Now, what is this thing that matters most at this time, especially? Okay, what matters more? What's the main thing that we have to do? What is the focus? What is the work that we have to do? What is more important? Maybe profit is not the most important at the moment, but maybe we have to look at what's happening to the people. What are they experiencing? Okay, so first things first, focus on what really matters, because again, people are our resources with regards to the success of the organization, especially in these turbulent times. No way out but forward. So we have to lead our people towards the future. We have to move forward. We should be decided to move forward. We should have that decision making, which is very firm in terms of moving forward, even if the future is bleak. Okay, hold the center. Hold the center means you have to be you have to control. Okay, you have to be in control. You have to have that self-control, because sometimes we underreact and sometimes we overreact. Either we don't do anything or we panic. So that the 2 extremes, okay? Underreaction and overreaction, panicking because the change is too much, okay? The situation is too much. So we have, as leaders, we have to hold the center. We have to really be in control. Now, sometimes leaders have to be really strong. Maybe they will come strong with regards to the feelings of the people, but there is a purpose for doing that, so that panic and also underreaction will be dealt with. Keep hope alive. So we have to, I mean, somebody says, or a common saying, there is hope while there is life. So we have to be, as leaders, we have to be examples of hope. We have to bring hope. We have to speak hope. we have to do things showing our hope for a better future of our organization, of our teams, of the work that we are doing, of our projects, of our country, and so on and so forth. So we have to lead by these 4 ways. Again, there may be other ways, but this could be a good categorization of how we lead. Again, it takes really personal attitude with regards to leadership. Now here, how do we respond as leaders? Maybe we have to look at our models of leadership at this time. Okay, let's look at remote work. Okay, so if we are flexible with working at home or working anywhere, how do we make it successful? So what would be our leadership models so that remote working will be a success for us and for our staff, for our colleagues? So first, let me ask you. You can type in the chat box. The first one: say goodbye to what? I would like to see the chat box. Okay, say goodbye to what? Number 1. Yes, Tajsri Rana. Good, that is micromanaging. Yes, thank you. How about the next one, number 2? Measure by what? Instead of the time, the length of time the person is working. How do we measure? What do we measure? Okay, performance. Yes, measure by, thank you, Sagar Lamichani. Okay, we measure by results. We have to use these models of leadership that we measure results, not micromanaging, not looking always at people's backs and things like that. So of course, number 3, be flexible. Again, be flexible, but we have to move quickly even if we are flexible. Now, number 4, lead by what? Lead by action. This is very much related to what Mr. Silwal said. Okay, let's see. Of course, we have to lead. Thank you, Thakur. We have to lead by example. Okay, we have to lead by example. Of course, we have to lead with passion also, but lead by example. We do what we say. Okay, and how about number 5? Any guess? So leadership models. We should not micromanage, especially with regards to remote work. Measure by results. Be flexible. Lead by example. Become a what? I mean, as leaders, what should we become? Okay, a leader should become a what? Okay, yes, an encourager, a motivator. Okay, I'm looking for another word. Yes, you are correct, Sri Rana. Again, become a mentor. So now mentoring is not easy, but we have to, especially when, I mean, mentoring, being an example, they are closely linked. Okay, and those are very important. These are very important models with regards to leadership, especially when we think about work at home or work anywhere. Okay, so now here there are several getting from resources. Okay, leadership, COVID-19 and beyond. There are some recommendations here. Put people at the center of business efficiency. Of course, that is already highlighted in the previous discussions that we had. Help people adapt to new realities. Okay, how do we mentor them? to adapt to new realities, get comfortable with remote working, be flexible and empower others. Okay, somebody also mentioned in the chat about empowering, okay, other people. Now, the next one, communication. Communication is very important, okay, especially that now communication, of course, using technology, we can still orally communicate, but also in writing, how do we communicate using technology? Okay, I mean, there are many ways to communicate, not only writing. You can so that you can still be seen, your feelings can still be seen, your face can still be seen. Maybe you can send a video about your instruction to your colleagues when you tell somebody to do something, and maybe you can send a video instead of just writing something, so that the person will still feel that you are there in front of him or her. Self-awareness and manage your emotions. Okay, this is very important, because the new normal will really be will involve a lot about emotions, and we can see already things happening around us. Build and nurture trust. Okay, especially in working at home, you have to trust that your colleagues, your team members are working. Okay, connect, then lead. Simplify everything. Okay, so simplicity breeds focus. So we have to make sure that we are, in terms of simplifying, we are clear, also concise in terms of how we do things, how we communicate, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the things that we can do in terms of how do we respond to the situation. Okay, so that is the end of the second section. So are there questions at this time? Or everybody is enjoying? Everybody, do you have any comments? Do you have any thing to say about what we have talked so far? Now, I would like us to talk. Okay, let's try to have a conversation here. Let's talk about how you are feeling, how what you are experiencing now. Okay, in the context of the situation, and again about leadership. Okay, so no questions. I don't see any question in the chat box, and also there's none in the Q&A. So maybe okay, please.
Mr. Ronaldo, I just have a small question. It's rather a doubt in my mind. Like you mentioned about while managing by the issue by the transition by the manager or the leader, you mentioned about scan and wait as the third point, right?
Yes.
And as I understand, when we manage crisis or differences or the problems or issues, we rather prefer not to avoid or wait. We rather prefer to attempt or address the issue. So what is your take on this? Like,
okay. So now we are talking about scanning the environment, scanning. Basically, it's about getting information from the surroundings, what's happening around us, and we have to, in terms of how do we use this information, I think we have to do some processing of this information that we have collected, that we have gathered, so that we will not jump easily into conclusion. So we have to process the informatics of the situation, and as much information that we get. So that is what we mean by waiting. Okay, we have to process this so that we'll be able to make a wise decision with regards to moving forward.
Okay, it's not about avoiding. It's about say holding for some time, then prepare and then address, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you so much. There is one more question. Would you like to read yourself, or you want me to read it out for you?
Okay. Yeah, maybe Mr. Silva, you can
Thakur.
read to us. Yes, please.
Mr. Thakur is asking, how is it going to affect overall economy of Nepal, considering its service-based? How is it going to affect profession of accounting profession? What he means to ask is, after the COVID outbreak and this pandemic, the situation is changing, and this is going to be a shift in the business, and things are expected to be, or we are afraid that, we are worried that things will get worse in the days to come. If that happens, what will happen to the accounting profession? That's his question. So
Okay.
maybe, yeah.
Okay. First, let me address the first section of the question. Now, how is it going to affect the economy of Nepal, especially that Nepal is service-based? Now, according to, I was in a webinar also very early in the morning today, around 1 in the morning, and the future is all about the service area. Okay, the service-oriented sector. Okay, and I believe that this is a good thing about, I mean, for Nepal, if it is a service-based economy, because you see the things that we have seen around us at this time is all about service. What kind of service do we give? For example, people don't want to travel to get their shopping items, so we need somebody who will serve, so that we'll be able to get what we are shopping from the mall to our doorsteps. So that's one example of a service, and there are many other services that are now really being involved with regards to the changes that we are experiencing. So it's all about service now, and maybe that's good for Nepal. But also, if this service-based economy will be linked with technology, then that would be a good combination, because that will drive, that will funnel the economy of the country. Now, the next one is, how will it affect the professional people, particularly the chartered accountants? Now, I mean, okay, I am not an accountant, but I know a little bit about what the accountants will do. Okay, and for example, if budgets of the organizations will be really affected, we have to control our money. We have to do something with our limited resources. So what will be our role as accountants in that regard? We have to really be careful in terms of auditing. The Philippine government is going to be, I mean, some lawmakers are suggesting that we have to audit the pandemic expenses in the Philippines. We have to have a special auditing. So that is an accountant type of work, right? So for sure, our budgets are limited. Then how do chartered accountants help in terms of making that happen for the organization? That's one thing that I am thinking about. I hope it
yeah, that's true.
Question.
Yeah, that's really a good sign of things. Yeah.
Okay, so those are 2 questions already. So let us proceed with the next section. Let us answer the other questions later. Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Silwal, for your help on that. Okay.
Are you okay with taking up one more question that we have here, or we should proceed to the next session?
Let's go to the next section, and then we will answer those questions.
Sure. I'll keep it on my record and I'll put it to you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so now in responding to the situation, to what is happening, new normal, future of our organizations, our country, or whatever. What are the qualities? What are the leadership qualities that we should have? And maybe we have used these qualities already before, but how much more important are these qualities at this time and in the future? So let's talk about what are these leadership qualities. Okay, so let me ask you, that will be the next question to you. What leadership qualities would be most important or very necessary or would be needed in managing that transition? Okay, transition again is about the future, the new normal that we are talking about. What leadership qualities would be necessary to manage the transition? So go to menti.com. We have a new code 761805. Okay, menti.com 761805. Let me go to that. Okay, let me show what we have. Okay. Okay, so let me go to this next to the next question. Okay, so if you are there already, you can already start answering the question. I hope you have seen the code. You go to menti.com. Let me show you. Let us see what are your answers. Okay. So what are the leadership qualities, okay, that are important? Okay. So let me share this one. New share. Okay, I hope you are seeing this. Okay, so what leadership qualities would be most important in managing the transition? Okay, quick decision making, adjustment, okay, transparency. Yes, we need to really be open to information, result-oriented, flexibility, effective communication, success-driven. Okay. Yes, success-driven. Especially we want to see results. So flexible, clear vision, team working. Of course, we need a lot of collaboration. As already mentioned, we cannot we cannot work in isolation. We need to collaborate. Motivating, yes, motivating. We have to motivate people when they are down, when they are having problems, there are struggles, when they have struggles, and so on and so forth. Punctual, wow, punctuality. Maybe that's about always being there when you are needed. Okay, quickness, quick decision making. Affirmative. Maybe I understand it as being positive. So we have to be positive about the future of our organizations. Flexible, providing opportunity, of course, being a mentor. That's part of that. That as you mentor a person, as you lead by mentoring, you also show the person what are the opportunities. Proactive, of course. And so on and so forth. So good. These are really very important qualities that we have to have as leaders, especially with regards to the new normal. Okay, so you can keep on typing, and let me go back to the slides. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your inputs on that. So leadership qualities that we need so that we are able to manage the transition that we are going to face. So let us reflect about our leadership styles. Okay, Mr. Silwal said that he talked about his leadership style. Okay, so we don't need to discuss about those authoritative and other types of leadership, but he was more of a more personal, okay, personal level in terms of leading. So have even at this time, even before pandemic and during the pandemic, and even as of the moment we are still experiencing the pandemic, is there any change in the way you lead people? So have you evolved, or has your leadership style evolved? So let us do some assessment, okay, so that we will be able to grow in terms of our leadership attitude or behaviors. Examine our assumptions. We have to check whether our assumptions of the future, maybe the future reality of our organizations are right. We have to empower people to challenge our assumptions. So we do not keep it to ourselves, but let us be open with regards to our assumptions, our expectations, our thinking, so that people can also share what their opinions would be on a particular project, particular step that you want to make. And very important, the second one is commit to intentional learning. I'm glad that you're here to learn. Now, leadership is a big topic, but it's ideas. It's good to converse with other leaders. So we have to learn, and learning is highlighted during this pandemic. Learning, there's a lot of learning going on around the world. Okay, it's not only about in education, but it's in every aspect of life. In every people wants to learn something, wants to know about the virus, wants to know how to control the virus, wants to learn more about certain things. So intentional learning, we have to learn so that we will evolve in terms of what we are as leaders, and live your purpose. So our purpose should be we have to make sure that our purpose is clear to our colleagues, and they will see that even with the situation, our purpose is still there. We are not defeated. Okay, so here many things here in this is I think this is the last in terms of slide. Okay, before we go to conclusion. So 6 leadership qualities for the new world, rethinking our leadership in a new reality. Okay, so we have the passion, of course, passion even before the pandemic. We had to have passion before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and also in the future, because change will always be there, surprises will always be there, and we have to make sure that people, our colleagues, will see what we are really passionate about in terms of how do we change our paradigm in terms of work. And so we have passion, we have persistence, perseverance. Don't be defeated, don't surrender, try again. Even if the situation is difficult, let's keep on persevering. Let's keep on trying. Okay, trying new things, and try to lead by that way. Intellectual honesty. We have to be honest. We have to be transparent of the information that is needed to be given to people, and we have to be intellectually humble. We have to make sure that people will know that okay, I don't know this. You should be willing to show yourself to others that it's not only you who is the source of ideas. I mean, you do not understand everything, okay? But let us be humble in speaking this to our colleagues. Systems thinker, of course, we have to. Change is quick. So how is that change? How does that particular change affect other areas of the business, other areas of our work? So how is it connected to the big picture of the new normal or the future realities? So we have to have that systems thinking. And most important, maybe, or very, very important, again, these are all important, empathy, because we are talking about emotions at the moment. We are talking about struggles at the moment of our colleagues, of our managers and our other colleagues in the organization. So let's ask them, let's empathize with them. Now, empathy is maybe it's a difficult word, but it's not only sympathizing, but it's doing something with the situation of that particular person. Now, somebody gave an example of what is empathy, because sometimes it's difficult to define. So an example is like this: two persons applied for a job, and then one of the things that one of the interview question was this: if you meet somebody who had an accident, okay, maybe a mother and a child, they met an accident and nobody, you saw them, what would you do? Okay, one of the interviewers said, I will call 911. Okay, you have seen them. Okay, is calling 911 enough? Maybe it's better to pick up the child first, hold the child before calling 911. At least they will find a little bit of comfort before those who will help will be able to come. So that is what empathy is about: doing something about what you think is happening inside of the person. So that these are some of the things. These are some of the qualities that we need to have. Okay, now let's make it personal. Let's go to a poll question. Now the question is, which of these leadership qualities do you feel the most challenging for you? Okay, so here we have a poll. Which of these leadership qualities do you feel the most challenging for yourself? Okay, passion, persistence, intellectual honesty, intellectual humility, systems thinker, empathy. So you can select one or more answers. Okay, so I hope you are seeing this poll question, and just click on the box or boxes with regards to your choice. Which of these qualities are the most challenging for you? Meaning it's most difficult for you to do or to have. Okay, so I would like you to do the poll. Okay, I hope you are okay. Let's look at whether we have the results already. Okay. Okay, so here we have we have 42% for persistence. Which is the highest? The highest, we have triple tie, persistence, intellectual honesty, and systems thinker. Okay, this is challenging for you in terms of doing it as a leader. So how do we the list is intellectual humility. Okay, I was thinking maybe intellectual humility is very difficult to do, but here it's those three in red. Empathy 33%, passion is 25%. So okay, some people are struggling on persistence, honesty, and systems thinker. Now these are really important qualities that we have to learn, we have to nurture, we have to, I don't know whether, I mean, of course, maybe we can do some training with regards to systems thinking. How do you think with regards to a system? I mean, in terms of systems. Okay, so maybe there can be some training on this. Intellectual honesty. Well, intellectual honesty is, I think it's difficult to do training on those things. Maybe there are some things that we can do by mentoring. So these are the things how we will make us evolve in terms of leadership qualities. Thank you for your. So what are our next steps? Okay. So what are our next steps in terms of preparing ourselves as leaders for the new normal? Let's go to Menti again. This will be the last question. As a leader, what would be your next steps to prepare yourself and your team for transition in our organizations or in your organization? So we have a new code 281576. Again, menti.com. This will be the last questions. What are you thinking about in terms of moving forward with regards to preparing for the transition? So let me go to that and let's see what we have. So okay, let's, okay, the last one. Okay, I hope you are typing your answers now. So okay. Okay, good. We have to reassess. Oh, sorry. I think did I share this already? Let me share first. Okay. So here, reassessment of all the plans. Okay, now it's very important to really revisit our plans. Now should be, I mean, we should have already done some adjustment of our plans. Okay, so not only now. Okay, so be updated. Of course, we have to be updated. We have to do some skills training, some motivational activities. Learn, practice, implement, reassess yourself. Okay, not only the plans, but also reassess ourselves. Okay, and go into action. That's good. Share the present situation and forecast possible situation of coming days and prepare myself and team. Okay, yes, you have to communicate about what's happening. Adaptive planning, yes. Update knowledge and impart new techniques of leadership to the subordinates, of course. So there could be leadership sharing, and we have to mentor people so that they could also lead, because everybody could become a leader. So thank you for this next steps that we have identified to start a participative approach and share them about the status process. Of course, again, collaboration is very important. We have to plan collaboratively, reassess our plan together, and we have to be very participative in terms of what we do in our organization. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your inputs in this regard. So now I would like to, I would like to go back again for the last, I'm going to do my conclusion now. Okay, the conclusion I'm going to show you, I'm going to use the statements of this guy, Chaim Asonye, former Senior Special Assistant on Sustainable Development Goals from Nigeria. And he said that the new normal must not be the lens through which we examine our changed world. Okay, so because we are so focused on the new normal, now what if it will be the same as before? Maybe things that we predict will not happen, because we think that the new normal is always be the thing that is possible, but we have to. He also said that normal has not worked for a majority of the world's population. So why would it start working now? Now he is talking about the realities before. Now there are people who have struggles before the pandemic. Okay, poverty, social justice, and many other things. Okay, so it has become normal in those times. Now, although it is being highlighted, inequalities highlighted during the pandemic, but are we going to have a change on that reality, or that reality will still be there? Okay, so instead, what he is saying is that we should use our discomfort. Okay, our discomfort, we should use our struggles to forge a new paradigm instead. Okay, so whatever we are struggling, whether we are struggling in the past and we are struggling in the present, we have to use this struggle so that we will change the things that we are doing, so that there will be some improvements of what we are experiencing. So this is the whether the new normal will happen, all those things that we have discussed will happen or not. There will be struggles, whether big or small, and we have to use those struggles in order to change. Okay, so new paradigms, new practices, new leadership qualities, new leadership models, and so on and so forth, so that success will be achieved in our families, in our organizations, workplace, and in the country. So thank you very much. This is what I would like to share in this webinar.
Thank you, Mr. Ronaldo. Thank you, everyone. We have a few questions. Actually, we were scheduled to conclude by 6:15 Nepali time, whereas we are already 6:30 now. But I'm sure we all enjoyed all these effective, useful, and insightful presentation. Thank you for all that. Is it okay I put you a couple of questions that I have collected from the participants, Mr. Ronaldo?
Yes, I think we are okay.
Yeah. Let's make it short and sweet, Yeah. Yeah. One is from the same gentleman, S.K. Thakurji. He is asking for a quick advice on the change scenario. In this change scenario, particularly in accounting profession, what will be the position of new interns, like the beginners who are entering into the profession, vis-a-vis the big fours, we call it big firms. So what will be the struggle between two? This is one question.
Okay. You mentioned in that question, Mr. Silwal, that it's focused on the accounting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So first, maybe may I request you to answer that question first?
Myself?
Yeah.
I see a couple of
Very much.
opportunities. Yeah, thank you so much. I see a couple of opportunities for beginners, because as Mr. Ronaldo already presented about in the new normals, in the new paradigm, we have to redo everything, and a lot of companies are redesigning or reframing their plans and programs and budgets and everything. Maybe some of the companies are more happy to hire the beginners so that they can save little money. That is one perspective I look at it practically. Number two is many new enterprises are coming up due to as a startup and all that. As you rightly mentioned, technology based, service based, and new product, say health product or PP product, or so many kind of other things coming up, and so many other services coming up. They will be probably hiring the beginners so as to manage their budget. And these are 2 points that came in my mind right away. So I request Mr. Ronaldo to put on mute.
Thank you very much. Well, because your answer is focused on the technical aspect of it, right? So
yeah.
Thank you very much for doing that. Because for me, my response is with regards to what we have discussed here. So I would like to add to what you have
please
shared advice, which are very, very important in terms of technical. I would like to suggest that also as leaders, as mentors, we help the new entries, we help the new staff to learn about the other soft skills that we have to use when we get into an organization. How do we communicate well? How do we collaborate? How do we build trust? How do we learn? So those are the soft skills that I would like to suggest to prepare the new entries into the organization. So let's not, in addition to the technical aspect of the job that he will be doing, let's also add also the important things, the soft skills that he or she needs to learn, especially in
thank you
of pandemic.
So there is one more. Thank you, Mr. Ronaldo. There is one more question from Mr. Ravindra. He is also a chartered accountant, and he has a simple question: how do you, balance, or how do you interpret the relation between economy and health situation? So economy versus health situation. How do you see the balance from a leader's perspective?
How do we see the balance of economy and
health situation?
Okay. In terms of seeing, maybe in terms of seeing the balance, maybe how do we deal with these two aspects, the problem of health, because you know what's highlighted again during this time of pandemic is physical and mental health, right? And the physical and mental health will be very important so that the person will perform his job. And if the person will perform his job, then that will cause the economy to come back, to improve. So I think in terms of balancing, we have to address the situation first in terms of providing an environment which is safe for the person to be working on. So we have to provide all the resources so that our colleagues, our staff, our employees will be comfortable in terms of performing their jobs. So, and that is in the context of health and safety, so that they will perform, because they will only be performing well if they are safe in that environment of work. So, and if they're performing well, then that will affect the economy. Okay. So, well, if you are asking about what should we prioritize, economy or safety and health, I think we have to learn. We can learn from what is happening now in other countries, in many countries. Now, previously we said, okay, we have to reopen the economy, okay, or we should control, we should do social distancing, we should do lockdown. But and there are countries who are doing lockdown and then opening the economy again. We have to be careful in terms of doing that. My country is still struggling with regards to the health issue, but still people wants to work, wants to contribute to the economy because they are struggling themselves. So
Yeah.
we have to have those policies, we have to have those protocols, we have to make sure that implementation are clear. What are the rules of implementation are being really implemented? Policies and protocols are really implemented well. And that is the struggle that we have in our country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ronaldo. Actually, I also have a couple of questions, but looking at the time, I just wanted to put one point. You rightly mentioned the importance of empathy as a quality of a leader, where I just wanted to add on one point. When we are empathetic, it's very good to be empathetic. I request all fellow participants here to be careful and also, keep in your mind to be assertive at the same time. We have full right to protect ourselves, and also we have the duty to protect others. So I request all of us, please maintain a balance between two. That's my understanding. One more thing is like you mentioned about self-assessment and lift the purpose, So lifting the purpose for this maybe year or maybe another couple of years, for me, the main purpose is to live the life and to let others live the life. That's my simple understanding. So with this, I thank the AITE Extension team, Dr. Jonathan, Dr. Pradeep, and the presenter, Mr. Ronaldo, and FroxJob team, ACAN team, and everyone, all the participants. Stay safe. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank you, Mr. Silwal, Mr. Bimal, and the participants that we have, and also AITE Extension. Thank you so much for staying with us during this webinar, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas to make this conversation.
So we'll meet again. We'll meet again, and we'll have some more wonderful programs and benefit more to more people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
On behalf of AITE Extension, Asian Institute of Technology, we would like to thank you all the participants for their active participation on this webinar, Leadership for Managing Transition, which is a very, very relevant topic during this uncertainty time of uncertainties. Our special thanks to the Association of Chartered Accountants of Nepal and its leadership for their active collaboration and facilitation for today's webinar. Special thanks to Sri Suvediji and most important our Silwalji for his contribution in terms of presentation and facilitation for the webinar today. This is as I mentioned in the beginning, this is the third of our series, AITE Extension and FroxJob collaboration. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Bimal Kandel and his team for this fruitful partnership. Tons of appreciation to our speaker today, Mr. Reynaldo, who handled the webinar with a lot of active participation and involvement of the participants. And special thanks to our technical team of AITE Extension who manage the telecast and all kind of technical support for the smooth running of the webinar. Let us carry this partnership with FroxJob and Chartered Accountant Association of Nepal for a few other events and share our knowledge and our experience of handling different human resource management issues. Thank you very much. Thank you all.